So I was talking to a client of ours the other day, and they were asking me, hey, if my friend that owns a business wanted to start running Facebook ads for the first time and didn't really know how to set things up and what things would look like and how much things have changed. Like maybe they'd ran ads in the past, but so much has changed, as you know, on the Facebook platform. What would be the best way to set up those ads and to make sure that they were done the right way so that results would be consistent and they wouldn't encounter some of the more common problems that maybe people that don't know so much about the platform could experience? Well, that's why I wanted to make this really simple video and show you exactly how to set up your ads and how to do it the right way. So I'm here in this dummy ad account, and I think a big thing to always consider when you're setting up ads is to make sure you're choosing the right objective. I talk about this a lot in all my videos, and it's so important to realize and to understand what objective you need inside of your ads. Because if you're just picking something just because it feels right, that's probably not the right objective. So make sure you're picking the right one, whether you're going for leads, sales. That's the most common one. There's a chance you're going to be going for engagement potentially. But a lot of the times, a lot of these other objectives are not necessary, especially when you're starting off. When you're starting, you just want to get results, whether that's a lead or a sale or a booked call. And a lot of that's going to come from here. So that's the first thing. Make sure you choose your right objective. I'd always make sure you do a manual campaign, whether it's a manual sales, manual lead campaign, because you want to make sure that you're actually able to customize a lot of this and to get full control. Once you get to that point, I think a really big thing that a lot of people struggle with, that I've even struggled with in the past, is your ads are being delivered to either the wrong people or they're getting delivered just to your followers, and you never seem to be able to break outside of that. And an easy way to kind of diagnose that you're having this issue is if your frequency is higher. If you have a high frequency inside of your Facebook ads, the easiest way to fix it is by changing the placements and removing audience network. If you do that, your frequency will be fixed, and it's a very common mistake that I see people miss. It's not even that they're meaning to make the mistake, they just don't know to choose that option. So when you're here in the ads manager and you're building your ads out, you want to make sure you scroll down here to placements, and you want to hit edit and manual placements. From there, I would recommend just turning off audience network, because especially if you're a first-time advertiser or you're running ads for the very first time, what Facebook is going to tend to do, Facebook and Instagram, is they're going to start to deliver first off to people that have engaged with your content, your followers, your friends, your family. And that's great and all, but personally, I don't want my friends and family to see my ads, because if I want them to buy something from me, I will just tell them directly. The purpose of the ad is to reach people outside of your network and to bring them in. Now, yes, there is a great use case for audience network or to target those people that are your followers, etc. But in most cases, it doesn't make sense to do that, especially at first. So this is one thing that is super important that I'd recommend ticking off. Everything else you can leave alone. Now, the next piece is Facebook has changed a lot when it comes to audience targeting. There were rumors for a while, and there still are, that Facebook is going to remove interest targeting. I don't think that's the case. If you think about Google, which is their biggest competitor, the keyword targeting on there is super robust. And I think if Facebook removed all their targeting, they would lose a lot of people that are interested in that, and it just wouldn't end too well, I think. And I think people like having those interests. However, you'll notice now that if you're in Facebook ads and in the manager, you'll see that you have this option now in the audience section called Advantage Plus Audience. Now, if you click Learn More, it'll obviously give you a lot more details about what it does and why it's important to use. I think for anyone that's starting off, or even anyone that's trying to scale, Advantage Plus Audience is a very good audience to use, because it's using it's leaning more on the algorithm than you. And sometimes the algorithm can be a lot smarter than us, but you want to kind of test it for yourself. I've seen that using Advantage Plus, and let's say when you're putting in age ranges and you're putting in different interests, like let's say we just did like a car interest, right? I guess car is the film. But say you're dropping in some interest. With an Advantage Plus audience, Facebook is using what you are giving it as a recommendation, and it's not using it as a guideline. So that's a big differentiator. The Advantage Plus audience, I'll say it again, is Facebook is taking what you're giving it and using it as a recommendation, not as a guideline. Now, that's great. The reason why it is so good is because the algorithm can then take this content here and use it as a suggestion to find point and pinpoint your ideal audience. Now, outside of that, I would recommend launching a few ads with Advantage Plus, but I would also recommend switching to the original audience option. Sure, it's going to tell you, hey, you're going to have a 33% lower result if you use this. A lot of these warnings I would take with a grain of salt, and I will explain those more here in just a second. But we'll switch to original audience. You'll scroll down, you know you're in the right spot again because there's no like Advantage Audience Plus up here. It's just audience. And then when you're doing this, so once again, the difference between these two is Advantage Audience Plus is using things as a recommendation, as just an outline. Whereas audience is using it as a guideline, and it is not going to go outside of it in most cases, right? So you'll see here, you can go ahead and add more interest, do all that good thing, and then it'll only kind of go for those people. Now, sometimes you can disable this advantage detailed targeting so it doesn't go outside of that limit. It just depends on your ad account, older, newer, and sometimes you can tweak that. But this is a great test that you can run. Advantage audience versus just a normal audience and seeing how that does. Now, the last thing I want to show you is all these little like doodads and recommendations and all that kind of good stuff. A lot of what Facebook tells you, especially in the ads manager, I will always say it, and I'll continue to say it and tell anyone that asks me, always test it. It's going to work out different on your ad account as it will on mine. And I think it's so important for you to figure out what works best for your offer and for your ad account. There is no one size fits all with this. There are very good guidelines and very good playbooks to follow, and you can get 90% of the way there. But that other 10% that's going to allow you to scale where you want to is up to your individual offer, and all that good stuff is what I found. And making sure you play with these different settings to see what works for you is super important. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more resources like this, check the first link in the description below. You'll get access to a free community where you can get tons of free resources and direct support with your ads. So if you want to join, I'll see you in there. If not, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again.